Hey guys, it's your boy Mike Shift. I'm here on the Otaku Topic Podcast channel on YouTube. I was on my way to actually record a reaction on Celestial's remix of the Attack on Titan theme for this season, the final season. But I saw on a recommendation page that Relax Alex recorded an anime video, and I was like, he don't normally do that. He do like kind of gaming stuff, but he'll mention anime and stuff like that every now and then. But yeah, I just thought since I was already set up and saw it there, I give it a shot and see react and see what this all about. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Welcome to Magnum Opus, the show about some of the greatest works by some of the greatest people, anime.
Alex, are you a fool? Super Mario Bros., Shrek, and then anime? Who's this series for?
Wait, well, hold on, that was your first mistake. This series doesn't make sense.
But yeah, like he normally does different stuff. For me, like a good YouTuber, like if they're editing and their comedy is like real good, I don't care what they talk about.
In that time, I went from buttered noodle tier to owner of Tusk.
It's much worse if you get it.
So I'm going to recommend an anime. One single 64 episode slobber knocker. Something you could start today and finish in a week. One single anime.
I'm guessing I think One Punch Man is he's actually showing a lot of the good starter ones. I think, especially that appeal to a Western audience, like My Hero. Even My Hero, it's like got this superhero aspect to it. But One Punch Man as well is I heard that's another good starter anime. He got Attack on Titan. But I'm surprised it's not either of those. I actually just started Death Note, and I think I would actually recommend that to some people as well. I'm at, like on episode 7, but I'm excited to see where that goes.
That will lay the bedrock for you for all future anime you watch. Something that is a great entry point for any fan of any type of show to see why people like anime so much.
Oh, I saw that movie
Here's my
too.
video essay on Lovely!
And we can drag one of these
Good,
corporate
like good fake out. I actually haven't seen that, but I'm wondering, did he purposely withhold the Brotherhood? Does he not like the Brotherhood version? I actually just listened to the Rant Cafe. They had Project Melody on, and they was talking about like they was roasting her tier, and it was like she actually liked the original more than Brotherhood, even though I guess then Brotherhood had like a more manga accurate ending.
Okay. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is the perfect anime for people who don't watch anime. If it's the only anime you watch, it's a pretty good one to watch, and it may make you want to watch more anime and lead into new topics and different genres, because this one, it's all-encompassing. So how do I prove that? Full Metal Alchemist is a shonen manga written by Hiromu Arakawa. Half of that sentence is in another language. I really don't want to come off as holier than thou, but in my time doing content online, I've learned a few things, and one of them is, even if you think something is well known in the online space, to a lot of people, it may just be the first time they're encountering it, and that experience, when you have people who talk like this, it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Right. Like if you're gonna talk to somebody about like anime or production, it's gonna be hard if you're already like using these terms that you wouldn't understand if you're not in that culture. Like it's good to use like metaphors and talk to people about like where they're at, meet people where they're at, use language that's comfortable to them. Sometimes you also have language that's been kind of tainted. Like I said, like you might have some people that associate anime with just a lot of lame things and stuff like that. It's got a lot better recently, but you know, a lot of people if you want to eventually have a friend group or a friend that watches JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you don't start off with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. You start off with something like Full Metal Alchemist or One Punch Man.
Anime is still pretty alien to a lot of people. But Goku's an alien, so that doesn't make it a bad thing. It's more like a 7 out of 10 thing. So I'm really coming at this like, what if you've never heard of manga before? What if you think that's just a fruit? Everyone's a beginner at some point, and that comes with inexperience. Like, I just started getting into avocados, and I still have trouble spitting out the pits. So, Full Metal Alchemist is the name of this series. First written in 2001, all the way to 2010. With, in that time, being 2 anime adaptations. The one you want to watch is Brotherhood. this one came out before it, and there are good parts to it, but it's sort of like Game of Thrones, where the first bit of it is actually pretty good until they stopped following the lore and fucked it all up! So, watch this one. I'm not sorry if you don't. Next,
see there, he did like a good metaphor. He did something that like made a lot of anime fans wouldn't want to have to wouldn't know about. I mean, a lot of people that aren't a fan of anime would know about, which is freaking Game of Thrones or something like that, and you might just
Shonen manga aimed at young males. What is manga? So the reason anime is so much different than the cartoons we have here is because of the manga industry in Japan. That's an entire history lesson, but in a nutshell, basically imagine comics, but actually really popular.
You've taken quite a liking to it.
Just watched that
manga industry
scene
releases
yesterday.
publications of manga on a weekly schedule, meaning you have readers who are picking up the issues of each, and you can gauge who's reading each manga so you can choose what to adapt. And because you have a manga to start from, you don't have to come up with like character concepts or storyboards, you have all the ideas right there. So back to shonen, it's basically battle manga targeted at young boys, which explains why so many grown men like it. Finally, the biggest difference with Fullmetal Alchemist is its author, Hiromu Arakawa. In a sea of long-running shonen, Arakawa made a series that balanced darker, more relatable dramatic elements while keeping the balance of what people tuned in for a shonen for. It wasn't just the fact that she was a woman in a male-dominated space, it was the fact she brought so many different topics and philosophies into the shonen genre that have changed it forever. We've got the impact of war, military states, revenge, nationalism, race, faith versus... What? Aimed at young boys? Do you remember that episode of SpongeBob where they talked about militarism and bikini bottom? Because I sure don't. This was only one sentence. You go read a little bit more.
That's one thing I feel like misses, like, and I think it's kind of to our detriment. Like, I'm not saying that I mean, a lot of younger people, like 13 and up, they'll watch, or 10 and up, they'll watch Avengers and stuff. So I think they get that much. They get some more mature things, but yeah, it's a tough balancing act to see, like, okay, should I expose my kids to this, or should I let them be blindsided by it later? Like, I don't think sheltering a kid from like certain stuff is a good idea in the long term. It may be a kid is not mature enough to handle like things like that, war, militarism, and all that other stuff. But yeah, I think I know what some parents will do. They'll watch. It's they call like PG-13 and stuff like that, parental guidance. Like, watch it with your parents, watch it with somebody mature, and like, for especially for like younger folks. I'm not sure who's all gonna be in the demographic of our thing. You know, I try to keep my stuff like PG-13, PG around that area. So yeah, like if you have to listen to it with your parents to explain some stuff, well, and maybe you already know some stuff, but like some information can be traumatizing for people who aren't prepared for it. Like I said, like a younger person. But yeah, that's my TED talk on like sheltering versus exposing, I guess.
And it says how this is often regarded as one of the best anime of all time. And that's not just me saying that. So, why? Time for one of my world-famous plot rehashes! Meet Edgar Meet Edward Meet Edward Elric and Alphonse Elric. He is the Fullmetal Alch, not him.
No, I'm his younger brother, Alphonse.
But he's a runt.
Oh, yeah, can a runt do this?
They live with their mother in the countryside of the not European state of Amestris. Everything is great. Oh.
Spoiler alert. But yeah, I guess that's I guess this probably something that happened in the first episode. But yeah, going into like I get this all the time, and I'm not even on the production video. I mean, I know Google knows I'm a producer, but it's just like it's just been like it's just been so aggressive lately. Like this producer ad, it's just been like every video, like every time, like every ad, even in the same video. I think this ad is run twice. it's cool to get this kind of pitch for this anime. Like I just got the pitch for like Death Note the other day. I was at a friend's house and he was just like, "Yeah, you ought to try it." I mean, and of course I've heard a lot about it from like Rant Cafe and a lot of other people talking about it. I think Anime Brothers and stuff. Shout out Anime Brothers. Like I think both Death Note and Full Metal Alchemist, they came at a time like when I was younger. I used to like Dragon Ball and stuff, but I didn't like blood and stuff like that. And I liked adults. I was bad. I was like 4 years old watching like Family Guy on Adult Swim and like other anime would come on later. And I would catch like bits and pieces of like this anime, but not understand what's going on. But I would kind of like be a lot more not queasy, but just like a lot more. I just used to high strong. I used to be like real high strong about blood, and so it was like, oh, is it bleed? It's like I wasn't mature enough at that time to really handle something like that. So, but it's fun that I get to like I'm actually like revisiting a lot of this stuff I was familiar with back then. Heard my friends talk about, but just like was just shied away. Kind of was scared of, I guess, because Adult Swim kind of like presented itself in a like weird way or whatever. And my parents be like, "Don't watch it because it's Adult Swim. You're not an adult, basically." And I think that was fair. I mean I was exposed to like PG-13 movies and stuff like that, which wasn't that much worse than what was on some Adult Swim. Some of the Adult Swim stuff was probably just way out of pocket. But yeah, now I do kind of revisit that stuff and like as an adult, as a 20-year-old, 1-year-old man. And I'm glad to kind of I'm interested in like actually watching this now that this is brought up to Full Metal Alchemist.
But there's hope, for in this world there is a power, a science known as alchemy. It's based in the law of equivalent exchange. So you must gather your ingredients, make a circle on the ground, dot 2 I's, and wait, and with the power of alchemy, these Jimmy Neutron boy geniuses think they can bring their mother back. So they get in contact with their buddy Walter White. Jesse, get the ingredients.
Breaking
We're
Bad.
gonna transmute a human. Hey, but Mr. White, what could have the value of a human soul? Bitch. After all, humans are just a mix of different chemicals.
Hi there. Do you want to know, like, everything?
What? Wow. The power to know everything. That must have cost an arm and a leg. An arm and a leg.
Damn.
So there's only one little fudge-coated rule in all of alchemy. Do not try and make a people. The cost of transgressing made Ed lose his arm and leg, and Alphonse, he lost his body. The journey of the show follows Ed and Al on a quest to do the impossible. Get their bodies back with no clue how to do so. The only hint they have is a powerful alchemical item called the Philosopher's Stone. And there's a dog!
This editing though, like he's so on point. And like I said, his writing, his humor is just like witty. It's just there. It's just like boom, boom, boom. Here's a joke. Here's a little slant. Definitely, like you could about make a masterclass. I don't even be thinking about this stuff when I'm watching it, but when I like actually think about it, like sit down and think like what it actually takes to make a YouTube channel or like make YouTube content and stuff. It's like really I think it's really good to like pay attention to like what the structure, the wit, the style of jokes, analyzing the anatomy of humor, I guess. And it's nerdy and it's kind of cold. For like you think of humor, you think of something warm and kind of spontaneous, and it really is. But it's also it can be structured. I think you can mostly it's just like kind of associating one thing. It's like metaphors, like I said, like associating one thing with another thing and getting there in a way that feels swift and abrupt and makes an emotional reaction. I sound so boring and like freaking like, oh, we're gonna figure out how to formulate humor out of science and.
Wait, I have to explain?
I think anime fans can sort of have tunnel vision. You have to think about how even the most basic anime is still whiplash for a normal person.
I'll take a potato chip. Eat
it. I'm dead.
That's our bar, people. So I'm in two camps. While I think people shouldn't judge a genre based exclusively on how it looks, I also understand being turned off by.
You can go ahead and touch me if you want. I don't really get it, but you can touch me as much as you want.
So many times with non-anime fans. Hey, you should try anime. They sit on the floor to eat! The viral weird stuff is usually only what non-anime fans see, and their impression is, this isn't better than Rick and Morty. A lot of the...
Hey, now!
That's circumvented in Full Metal Alchemist because Arakawa... Whoa,
it's a woman.
What is that? What is that? And a lot of our own personal perspectives about life and philosophy, they're embedded into this, and every character shines. Nobody feels like they were made specifically to fill a trope to attract a certain audience. Except...
behavior is most suspicious!
I'm okay with this. Also, something I don't see that's brought up is this doesn't take place in Japan. It's just as much a fictional world to them as it is to us. So you don't need to have prior knowledge about phrases or customs to understand what's going on in the show. And I think that's important because you could watch this anime, not know it's from another country, and still enjoy it. And because it doesn't fit so snugly in the shonen genre, and it doesn't rely on tropes to tell its story, it bounces between so many different elements. So you know, I said alchemy is the pretty important part of this story.
Yep.
I like when there is a problem that characters have to solve, and they get pieces of the equation over the course of the story. So, at some point you're like, whoa, it's a thing, whoa!
And we can drag one of these corporate...
What did I tell you? I'm gonna get the same producer ad.
That's cold.
That's cold. We know it's cold. It's the same. I think he's doing a real good job. Like, if you want to like study anatomy or something, study an anatomy of like how to get a Western audience interested in somebody in the Western audience interested in anime. And maybe what are the common things that turn people off from it. And I think he's doing a real good job dissecting it using humor that I just talked about the anatomy of that. And so you bring all the anatomies together, you make Grey's Anatomy.
Anime likes to change up the rules at any given point. 2 equals 3, 3 equals 7 if it's blue, but if it's green, it equals 1, and 1, don't even get me started, it got useless after the first arc. The battles in this anime may not be as over the top, but what's better?
A medium amount of good
battles.
Or all you can eat, a pretty good
battle.
It doesn't feel like they're adding new rules willy-nilly. It feels like as the characters discover more about this world, you do too. I'm not trying to spoil this, but there is a huge mystery with the whole story of this world, and it's extremely compelling. But the best part about the whole story and the battles is the consistent power system!
Yep.
Like I mentioned, there is a heavy focus on alchemy and how it affects the characters in the world, whether that be through faith versus science or how it's used for the military. It seems every character you encounter in this story has a different viewpoint based on the experiences they had with this world's alchemy, which means this world is only as strong as the characters in it. Huge casts run into the problem of characters becoming one note or only useful for the completion of one task. Some characters have as much character development as Boggy the Polar Bear in Banjo-Kazooie. Even other anime I like, supporting characters just sometimes fill background roles. And in other cases, it's like Oscar Martinez in The Office, where he's only used when Michael has money problems. Otherwise, he's just the butt of a joke. What kind of world building is this? But in this one, everyone is so well characterized that you can understand their motives and why they do what they do, both good.
Again, I guess following the anatomy train of thought, like the good anatomy of a character. I think it's good for a character to be like, to feel believable, to feel consistent in what they do. Like, okay, who is this character? What is he like? Usually a character has already had experiences. That's their backstory. So a character has their backstory, and that makes them have a particular disposition, or they're placed in like this world, and the world has its own backstory and things that have affected them and stuff like that. So they have this position, these goals, these ideals about life already. And then what's good to see is, okay, this thing happens, and the character reacts with their toolkit, their mental toolkit, their experience, what they think about things, or how the disposition they have to behave a certain way when they're brought with the problems that are shown in the story. When a problem happens, when a certain action happens, they'll relate it back, or the author can relate it back to the character's backstory, and then see how the character is happy go lucky, and so when they get news that they have the possibility of winning the tournament, they get excited. Or you might have one that's like real pessimistic, and so you get a news about like doing a tournament, they might be like, oh, I might lose. So there's different reactions based on the character's dispositions. But you can also have a character have this other situation happen that really changes them. This character development changes how they react to things from now on, how their disposition from now on, their mannerisms and stuff. And it's always kind of fun to see, like, because it's art imitating life, as they say. So well, he's probably gonna delve into it and probably explain it better than me and make it more fun and less boring.
I think the characters are so strong because the theme of the story, and it's in the title, the Elric brothers' quest leads them to meet many people who have went through different struggles because of this war-torn world. And the growth of them as characters is amplified by who they meet. And I just love this cast so much. There are characters you think are going to show up for one episode, and it turns out they stay with the main characters for the entire run. And between this, the great fights, the heartfelt moments, there's one other reason I think it's perfect for beginners. I think my worst quality is starting a new show, chickening out, and then turning on The Office. Well, I have good news. This series is done. It's completed, and it's not going to be added upon. Every story thread is tied up. Everything has an intended purpose that goes from beginning to end. It feels like a full product, and I know that doesn't seem like much.
Honestly, it's like a big, especially during the podcast, we usually try to stick with shorter anime or movies and stuff like that. Just starting something new that I haven't been watching for a while. The reason I'll hang on to something is if it's new. So I might stick around for 100 or 200 episodes, but it's a lot harder for me to actually start watching stuff that's real long running shonens and stuff like that. So it's nice to see this 60 episode and 30 episode. I just think of One Piece. When I think of One Piece of animes, I really want to watch so bad, but I just can't because it's just so long. I'm not sure, but Naruto is real long too. If you put all 2 parts together, I think. I kind of got the gist of that story from playing the Storm games, but I probably missed a lot of actual meat to the actual anime. So far, the only long-running anime shonen or anything like that I've completed, I think, is Gintama. I do need to watch the movie when it comes to the US. But I'm getting close to I'm about 50 episodes left of Hitman Reborn. So when I get back to that after watching some stuff for the podcast, I'm looking forward to finishing it off and having another long-running show under my belt.
What? You know what's underrated? Things ending. So that's it. Genuinely, this is my favorite anime. I just think it's one of the most well-crafted stories, and it...
Most people be like, I dropped Shrek after 2.
Definitely hit me hard.
5. I give you 5 episodes before you're crying your eyes out.
It's got an amazing story that just makes you wonder so much. Great characters, a great world, and a lot of emotional moments.
And there's a dog!
So please, I will never recommend you an anime again if you just watch Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. That's my promise. But, it's actually really quick to get through. To put in perspective, I watched it and Breaking Bad around the same time. I got through this quicker.
Kill Mr. White with a Philosopher's Stone. We could have an infinite amount of Funyuns. Infinite Funyuns, Mr. White. Do you even have an iota of understanding about the live equivalent
Here we go.
exchange?
And we can drag one of these chord progressions in.
I'm put it right in. That's
cold. Yeah, we using this one. We using this one. All right, let's get to it. So we just drag it in.
I'll tell you, did y'all see this 4 times, that same ad? Shout out to the patrons though. Thank y'all for giving him making him able to do this for a living. I'm saying him. I'm saying this is my channel. Thank you, patrons. Thank you so much for allowing me to. Yeah, I really enjoyed that video. Is there anything left? So much humor right to the end. to his last breath of the video. I really enjoy his style, his writing, his comedy, his editing, and I'm glad he made that video. Like I hope the YouTube algorithm and all, you know, what people do when they like, because so much of the like I was watching Taku's video about like the suckiness of like being a YouTuber. I forgot exactly what it was called, but YouTuber depression or something like that. But like it's so much mental health. I think it was something like YouTuber mental health. Yeah, there's so much that goes into like, you know, the whole YouTube thing is about like building a niche, and when you go outside that niche, sometimes it could be dangerous as far as like for your numbers, as they say. But I think that's a terrible thing for like a creative person. Like I think creative people need to like be able to like do whatever, as far as, you know, as long as it's fairly ethical. You know, just don't, you know, go around and film yourself punching people randomly. I've heard of some not YouTubers, but just I've heard people did that before. Like, but yeah, do not do that. Do not go around and punch people, or I will find you and I will punch you. But yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed that video. I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you laughed. Have a good one. Peace be with you.